Hey guys, Luton here, back for some more Battlefield 4, and you will see it's Naval Strike, okay? It's Nansha Strike Carrier Assault, or if you like, Titan Mode, which is probably what I'm going to be calling it. Now, I had said this week that I wasn't able to go to the Naval Strike event. I had other commitments there, and so I couldn't get any footage, obviously, from that event. I was very lucky. Levelcap has given me a load of footage to use, so massive thanks to Levelcap, the awesome guy that he is, and loaning me this stuff so I can actually showcase some stuff for you guys and talk around it a little bit. So here we are, Nansha Strike Carrier Assault. I'm going to be talking around this. Now it's going to be coming out, sort of later part of the next week, and so up until that point I'm going to have a few videos to talk about, discuss a few things, some thoughts around the actual look and feel of the maps and so on and so on. But the key thing that I want to mention, I haven't played on Naval Strike yet, okay? Clearly I haven't played on it yet, so I can't give you any direct footage or sort of feedback about how it went down, but what I can do is obviously look at this gameplay and discuss around it, think about the ideas, the concepts, the tactics, the mechanics of it all. So there's a lot that you can kind of talk about and discuss, and then when the DLC actually releases, I'm very lucky I've actually got a bit of time there, so I'm going to be able to probably live stream and do a load of stuff there as well. So anyway, here we are. Carrier Assault mode, what the hell is it? Well, if you don't know what Carrier Assault is, Titan mode from the previous Battlefield series, okay, essentially what it is it's like a combination of Conquest and Rush together. An absolutely devastating vehicle destruction. This is one of the things that I'm going to absolutely love about this DLC. I personally am looking quite forward to it, even though from what I've seen so far, the map modes, or the maps I should say, they don't seem to have a great amount of variance between them in terms of look and feel. They do have somewhat, but I mean it's all kind of very much variations on a theme, and that's okay. But the thing for me is that I actually really enjoy the kind of water-based attacking that we have had in Battlefield 4 up to this point. I really enjoy Paracel Storm. It's one of my favourite maps of all. I really love that map. I know some people don't get on board with it, but I do. I really like it. Now you can see here Level's coming in and he's capping this base here. Now you can see also there's a missile launcher on this base, and this is basically what happens in Titan mode. You can see on the minimap bottom left you've got two ships right there, okay, and there's a ticket count. Now that ticket count, unlike Conquest and Rush, it actually dictates the kind of sort of health of that ship, alright, and that obviously dictates the end of the round. There's the big battleship right there, the aircraft carrier, and so what you have to do is wear it down or destroy it from inside, okay? Now you can see, look at these missiles here firing off all around. So basically these missiles at timed intervals fire off towards the carriers. There goes another one, alright? And whoever is in control of that missile point, that's where the missile will direct to. So if it's the enemy, it goes to your ship. If you control it, it goes to the enemy ship. And there you go, there's another one slamming in the side of the carrier, hitting it all over, okay? And those missiles are going to basically wear the ship down, damage it, okay? And also you can, shoot your way in and open up the carrier. When the carrier is open, you'll be able to go in and actually arm that MCOM as well. So it's either kind of based on the kind of ticket count of damage, or you actually fully destroy the thing at the same time. It's a combination of the two things there, and it means it's really good because it gives that kind of fluidity and kind of variance in the gameplay. It means that the team really has to be thinking about kind of multiple things, and I often say that 64 I think doesn't work particularly well. It works well on kind of large Conquest maps, but I think generally that's about all. Rush tends to be too bottlenecked. This is an interesting compromise of the two, and I actually really look forward to it on this. I think 64, also given the scale of these maps, looking right here you can see that the map is massive, and that's really good because it means you can actually accommodate that large amount of players. On the other side, maps like this mean that you can actually this is something I've been talking about a lot. Maps of this size mean that you as a small team will actually have less impact. So you as a 5-man squad, given the scale and the scope and the amount of players that are going to be probably populating these kind of size maps, you're going to have less impact. There's one of the hovercraft coming in there, obviously not particularly heavily armoured, as he just wiped it straight out right away. Oh, and here we go, going down. I managed to save it just at the end there. So yeah, basically these maps, as I say, they're quite large, and so that's kind of, it's a positive and negative. It's great because you'll be able to sort of fly around the map and you'll be able to feel like there's a lot happening. You feel like you're actually part of a battlefield rather than just kind of a small kind of closed section of a game map. You actually feel like you're in a whole environment. There's whole sort of sections over here. We can see this kind of building cluster right here with this interesting kind of ramp sections between the buildings. Then you've obviously got that center of islands there. So there's these kind of nice landmarks that you can kind of move between in the actual whole area. That's kind of cool because it's nice to have that kind of variance where you sort of have one thing that's a little bit different from another, rather than maybe just a lot of islands. They've actually kind of put features in there, so that's kind of cool. But as I say, there is the other downside to that, which is you might end up feeling a little bit lost. You know, sometimes you can be in a game and you could totally imagine this area behind us here with those 3 buildings. You could very much see that a squad could actually spend its, the majority of the time on this game in that just little area right there. You might find you get kind of bogged down in some battles. I mean, you know how it is on Conquest. Sometimes you end up at a Conquest base and you almost can't get away from it because the enemy keep putting the pressure on, and just as you try to leave, you have to go back and defend it. So you could find that on these kind of scale of maps that's the kind of thing that you end up happening, that you end up sort of having to fight, defend specific sections, and then you end up having sort of more fluid people go around. Interesting though, I mean, because that kind of ties in with how you're going to want to play this game mode. Are you going to want to be the kind of fluid, fast player who moves around from the different bases trying to get those caps and hopping on the defense as necessary, or are you going to be the kind of more static player that kind of stays within sort of maybe this little island section we can see over here to our right, and you just kind of work as a team to kind of defend and push back and attack the enemy as they move around? Again, it's always very much about SA. It's very much about situational awareness. It depends on what. Look at this little combat we got going here. This is nice, yeah. Look at the hovercraft. That thing's moving, that's going real fast. Look at this thing, it's tearing it up through the waves. I was concerned about the sort of levels not letting this guy get away. Oh, come on, man, get back round on him. Get back there. He's trying to go for the cap. There he is. And Level owns him, of course. Okay, but that hovercraft was really moving right there. Again, the great speed on those things, because one thing I was vaguely concerned about as well is that in Paracel Storm, you know how it is when those waves pick up, you really can't push through the water very easily, and you can see that there's kind of medium level waves going on right here. I don't know about the kind of weather changeability, but you want to be able to have it so that your vehicle can actually push through that water well. You don't want to end up kind of getting stuck and bogged down, because I think one of the key things with this DLC is going to be the kind of speed and movement. How fast can you move from base to base? Because you don't want to be kind of like you don't want to have like the water, the waves, the sea working against you. You want to be able to push forward and think, okay, cap this, they get back down on it. Oh no, he's getting a little clip. Oh, down he goes. So yeah, you don't want that ocean to be working against you, and I actually think that's going to be like a really key tactical element in this, because when you think about it, the bases are quite sparse, they're quite kind of spread out between sections, alright? You can see here in this central island, there's actually quite a lot of kind of internal area, so it's kind of good from that, what you can see right there that they've provided. So you kind of have these kind of satellite bases. Look at this giving me a kiss ram right there. You can see that you've got those kind of satellite bases and then these kind of internal island sections. So I think what they've done is they've kind of provided like a kind of landmass area for people who really don't want to get involved in the whole kind of oceanic sort of flying stuff. We've obviously got the aircraft flying around as well. I think you can see that the aircraft are going to actually have a fairly big impact in this. There are obviously jets available as well, and you can definitely imagine there's going to be some quite kind of serious dive bombing action happening, and kind of lock-on missile action as well. Let's not forget as well the scout helis being able to carry passengers with missiles. You can totally imagine them coming down and hitting boats with multiple missiles, things like that. So I don't know, it's going to be very vehicle heavy. Like I had kind of said before, are we feeling very much that this is a kind of, it's kind of sea-based armored kill? Is that kind of what we're looking at right here? And I don't know, maybe that is what it is. It's kind of like it's this game's armored kill. There's going to be a lot of kind of focus on distance, and you remember with armored kill that it was very kind of difficult to kind of navigate sometimes, because those, again, they had to make it big enough, not dissimilarly from Titanfall, they had to make it big enough that you could actually use the vehicles in the space they're in, but then at the same time the infantry gameplay suffers. But actually, if you look at the kind of sections that we've got right here, you can imagine where we are right now. Look at these kind of sort of scaffolding building works happening, and then these kind of construction buildings around us here, that you can imagine that you would have some fairly reasonable infantry gameplay. And then also, as I say, looking over towards the island, you've got these kind of like towers, buildings, undergrowth, jungle. So again, you've got the trenches classically from Paracel Storm there as well. So I can imagine having pretty good infantry play here. And like I say, you may find that you as a squad choose to play a certain way. You either work as a team kind of going around those satellite bases, capping and defending, or you stay on this island section. So again, depending on if you play solo or you play with teams, if you had maybe 2 squads up, although that doesn't happen very often, you could opt to have sort of, say, a squad here on the mainland and then a squad going around the kind of satellite area trying to take control of that. Transport helicopters could have a good role to play if they're able to kind of duck out the way and stuff, because those miniguns can really tear stuff up if you have a couple of guys on board and a couple of people repping as well. So the transport heli, if you have a crew running with it, can actually be a quite powerful tool, often a little bit underrated. I remember in the beta, me and some of the other guys that I was working with on that, and we would sort of rip things up with the transport heli. Although I have to say, it seems that pretty recently now we've had kind of more stuff working towards that kind of helicopter aspect, so again, maybe not so much of a big deal coming in right there. But again, also, we're thinking about these kind of new things coming in, like the helicopter mines, and when you see the kind of scope of these maps and you wonder, okay, how much impact are they really going to have in the game? I mean, it could be that you have like a key base, some of these satellite bases, right? There's only going to be a limited space for the helicopter to come in on, and that could be a good location to be dropping those helicopter mines. This guy's beached his boat here, so that's clearly something you don't want to do and be a little bit careful of, is not drive and ram your boat up here. Again, that could be something that's kind of frustrating. The boats are obviously a really key part of this DLC, and you don't want people wasting them. I mean, that's going to be something I can imagine could get quite irritating. People take these boats, they just go off on kamikaze suicide missions, and those boats are going to be valuable assets for your team. You don't want to literally throw them away. You're going to want to have people on board who know what they're doing, who can, do some damage to the enemy, get out of the way as necessary. Look at this hovercraft yet again, look at him go, and he's rammed it straight up on the rocks there. I think he's going down. But yeah, I think people taking the vehicles now. Vehicle use in the game is always really important. It has major impact on the outcome of games anyway. But I think more so is going to be, it's going to be more important with the Naval Strike DLC, mainly because, like I say, these kind of transport areas, you're going to have to be able to get across to other sections of the map. And if you're in a situation where you just see people just powering off like they do, they don't think to take passengers, they don't look around whether somebody's going to jump on board, they just grab that vehicle and go, that's going to be an issue. So like any map, teamwork is going to be a real key component of the way that the games play out, but I think because of the scale of the maps, it's going to be more so. That's the issue, really. These maps are very large, and therefore the scale has a direct impact on how the game plays out. If you don't have people that are aware enough to sort of think ahead of time where they need to move to, the time factor in determining how successful you are to actually capture those points, that's going to be quite a major issue. Here we go, see the missiles launching off towards the carriers yet again. But as I say, that's really the key issue. I mean, what I'm talking about is if you have too many of your players in one section, very much like Conquest Large, you're going to have a very difficult time actually getting back in time to be able to control and secure things because your team are too focused on one section. So keeping a good kind of balance and a good spread and a good situational awareness of all of the elements on this Naval Strike DLC, I think are going to be really important in order to have kind of good, fun, balanced, successful games. But so far, I'm liking the look at these maps. I mean, it's pretty awesome. We haven't seen a kind of weather change on this map so far, but we have seen the really awesome, here we are, the carrier stuff coming in right here. A little bit spawn campy right here, Level, a little bit spawn campy. But he's just, he's doing what he needs to do to control the game. It's all good. So I'm going to have more of the Naval Strike DLC coming up this week to show you guys, looking at the different maps, thinking about how the terrain plays out, thinking about how that's going to affect the gameplay and what kind of experience you can expect to get from this DLC. On top of that, I'm very excited to actually get hands-on and play this DLC. I'm almost kind of in much more anticipation because I haven't actually had the chance to actually get hands-on with it this time. So I'm really looking forward to that. As I say, I have got some time around when this DLC is coming out, so there's going to be live streams, there's going to be footage of me, content, and when I live stream I will be posting the servers that I play on, and don't forget, my server should be up by then, so I expect we will be running Naval Strike on there, so you guys can get on with me, play some games, maybe feature in the videos as well. So I look forward to that very much. As always, guys, drop any questions below that you may have, and drop a little thumbs up, guys, if you enjoyed the video. Always really helps me out. I'll see you next time, guys, for more Naval Strike Battlefield 4.